The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Studio 6 Entertainment, Armed Media, or the Entertainment Partners LLC. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Afternoon Bytes. I am your host, Tattoo Rick. You're listening to me on Armed Radio, home of the big guns. While you're listening, I'd like to give you our number if you want to give me a call today. 1-866-CALL-401 or 1-866-255-5401. And you can also get in touch with me on the Armed Radio Facebook account, or you can tweet me at Armed Radio on Twitter. We're going to start this right out. I always start with tattoos in the news, and something happened over the weekend that I found out about that kind of disgusts me, but then again, I don't know, it's a touchy subject. It's about a guy who decided that during a visit to the vet, his dog was having some surgery done. He's also a tattoo artist. Well, he decided to tattoo his pit bull, and not just for, let's say, not for identification purposes. He did it because, well, quite frankly, he wanted to brag that my dog is cooler than yours because he has a tattoo. Now, he's from New York. I'm not going to give his name, but he is getting some major backlash for this. The dog had her spleen removed, and he figured as long as she was under anesthesia, he might as well give her a tattoo. And the vet allowed him to tattoo his wife's name and a heart on the dog. Now, online, people were angry, and the ASPCA, of course, denounced it. It was very, very pissed off themselves. And the tattoo artist says he's a great guy who loves his dog and would never do anything to hurt him or anyone. But now, apparently, he has had to quit his job because of all the attention. There's something new that popped up. Because of this, they're trying to make it illegal for pet owners to tattoo their animals. Now, as a tattoo artist, in my past, I've actually gone to dog holding facilities or dog breeders, and I've done AKC numbers on the dogs so that way they could be papered properly. And if they decide to make this illegal, that means that you're not going to be able to even tattoo your dogs for identification purposes. So I don't think I want to agree with that. Oh, and with that subject, we just had somebody walk into the studio. She is an avid tattoo collector. Her name is Tara Long. Tattoo Long, Tara Long. Welcome, Tara. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. Now, I'm just going to throw you right into this. What is your opinion about this dog that has been tattooed?
Well, I agree that he went overboard with putting the names of him and his wife with a heart, but who's to say that wasn't an identification purpose? I mean, just because he's not a purebred, maybe there's other dogs out there like him, so this would put it, like hearts, lips, different locations. That's how, like right now, if you go to the police, that's how they identify you on mugshots and scars and tattoos. So why can't you put a tattoo on a dog? And he was under.
Well, I understand that he was under. It's the idea that if you're going to do identification, you're going to do it in an area on the dog that's going to be exposed where the skin or the hair is not going to grow back over top of it. In this case, he did it on the fur-bearing part of the dog. It's not underneath the inside of the leg.
I don't care. My dog upstairs has fur everywhere. So where are you going to put the tattoo?
Well, in most places they do it on the inside of the ear. They do it underneath on the inside of the leg by the junk.
Yeah, but what if I just want it out there? I mean, it's easier to locate. I like the idea of putting what I want on my dog. He was sedated, so I don't have a problem with it. Now, if they cover them in tattoos, maybe it's a little extreme, but for identification purposes, one little tattoo. And just because he's not a purebred. So, and also I think the law will they'll narrow down like for AKC numbers and whatnot. Is that what they are? AKC
yeah,
numbers?
Yeah, they're AKC numbers. But so you don't think that they'll just say no tattooing at all?
No.
And it also says piercing. I mean, I've never seen a pierced animal.
Well, we had that pig. We had a couple pictures from Germany that had a pig pierced.
Oh.
That was a little bit different, and it was a live pig, so it was pretty funny. But it just looked weird. But I don't think we should pierce animals. But tattooing for identification, they can't be removed. I like the idea. I just don't like the idea of going above and beyond, putting, wings and whatnot in hearts.
Well, do you have time to stick around for more in the show? I'd really like to take your opinion on some of these other topics that that I'm going to be talking about. This is going to be a show related mostly on tattoos today. We are going to cover, of course, the normal, the stupid criminals and the dumb parents and all of those fun things. But I think for the first part of the show, we're just going to cover tattoos. And as of late, it disappoints me to bring this up because I hate hearing about kids getting bullied. I hate hearing kids getting bullied to the point where they're trying to commit suicide, even at a young age. I mean, you're talking 12, 13-year-old kids that are just overwhelmed with this bullying, and they end up trying to take their life. There is a tattoo studio that's doing some support for an 11-year-old bully victim. It's at Imperial Tattoo on Highway 6. The toner is Tony Wayne, and he's inking something old that's new again. It's that My Little Pony, which my daughter loves My Little Pony, and my son calls himself a brony, so it's become very, very popular. But after this kid was bullied ruthlessly for liking the cartoon My Little Pony, 11-year-old Michael Morones, Wake County, North Carolina, tries to take his own life. He survived, although it's early to know if he's actually endured any lifelong brain damage. It's one of those things where the tattoo artist decided that he was going to make money. He was going to find a cause for this kid, and he wanted to find something that, the kid would like, and it would draw attention to his cause. And what he started doing is he started donating the proceeds from every My Little Tony tattoo that he did on willing customers to the kid. Basically, he's going to have some medical issues. He's going to have some medical bills. It just disgusts me that it takes a child to actually have to try to take his life to bring it to attention. But I love the fact that we have, I'm going to call him a hero, like this tattoo artist that actually is going out of his way and giving the proceeds for all the tattoos that he does back to this child. Do you have any opinions on this?
Yes. I think, let's talk about bullying. I don't understand. We have bullies. We talk about them. But who is this bully? Who is it? We hear about them all the time. Why aren't we calling them out? Why are we always going for the victim? I know we're all victims and whatnot, but we really need to call out the bully. If there's really a bully there, why not call them out? And that's what I understand. We see all these stories, and they're great stories, but why aren't we calling out those bullies? Why are we reaching out to them and going, hey, your name's in the news. Hey, Tattoo Rick, you're bullying me. Wouldn't that put maybe almost an embarrassment on you? Or is that, we can't do that because we're bullying you.
You're bullying the bullies.
So you're catch-22. So that's why I understand we do so much out there. We're always about victims. So in turn, everyone is going to be a victim and everyone's going to be a bully almost.
So you think there needs to be more advocates helping the bullies and bringing them to light? Actually, the stories about the bullies and what they've done than they're about the victims.
Yeah, and we see that once in a while when the news local news here, we see different things, but sometimes the news reporters will be out there and they're talking about it and they, call out the bullies, and sometimes they don't understand what they're doing because maybe they're following their parents. grandparents lead. We just don't know what that situation's like. Maybe they don't like whatever about people. So it just kind of rubs off on their kids. But really, I think we have all these, oh, I'm being bullied. I was bullied as a kid. So you know what? 20 years later, should I go contact them? It's like, you scarred me for life. I cannot do this now because of you. And you know what they say? Because I did that. I recently did that with an old neighbor of mine that used to bully me. So I'm just letting you know. You know what he said? Oh, I didn't realize. And he said, I don't really think that's the definition of bullying. So where's the fine line?
I'm not sure, Tara. We're going to continue with this subject when we come back. Right now, I'd like to give you that call-out number again. It's 1-866-CALL-401 or 1-866-255-5401. I have the phone ready. If you've got anything you'd like to shout out, give me a call. And I also would like to thank everybody else that's hosting on our station. We've got Straight Talk with Matt Housley on Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. We have Talk Time with Val, Tuesday to Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Central. We have On the Air with Mike Allen, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Central. And then, of course, we have the incomparable Joe Rocks, Night Talk with Joe Rocks, Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern. And that's on Armed Radio, home of the big guns. We'll be back after this break.
According to a report from LIMRA last year, 40% of households would have immediate trouble paying bills if their primary breadwinner died today. An accidental death occurs every 4 minutes in the United States. When it comes to life insurance, 70% of Americans fail on life insurance. Why? It's too confusing. But it doesn't have to be. Call an expert, get a quote, get covered now. Call Richard at Choice Point Insurance Agency at 888-588-9245. Again, that's 888-588-9245. Call Richard at Choice Point Insurance Agency today, 888-588-9245.
Still trying to find that next hot novel you can't put down? Well, pick up Chronicles of a Traveling Salesman by Wendy Renee. Welcome to the world of Gavin, a traveling salesman, charismatic and charming. Gavin is a self-described ordinary man with extraordinary experiences. Gavin takes opportunities presented to him in life and uses them to his advantage. Gavin keeps no secrets as he explores his sexuality and shares his most memorable experiences, ranging from the lonely housewife to the girl next door. Gavin has chronicled these steamy and erotic experiences for the world to read. So remember, pick up Chronicles of a Traveling Salesman at Amazon.com.
Wait! Before you start doing your online shopping, go to couponmeup.com. Get thousands of coupons, discounts, and deals from thousands of leading online retail stores. couponmeup.com. You won't regret it. Visit crafterstown.com, your website to buy and sell arts and crafts worldwide. At Crafterstown, you will find unique arts and crafts from around the world. We also have Grammy's Tips of the Day blog for shortcuts to crafting. Take a walk down Main Street at crafterstown.com.
It's freaking crazy hot at MobileWebsites.com. Everyone and their grandma is mobile. Get more mobile customers before your competition does. HotMobileWebsites.com will custom design an eye-popping mobile website, then throw in a free domain and hosting for 1 whole year. All done for you for only $259. That's right, $259. That's crazy and hot. Over 1,000 in savings. Never any setup fees or contracts. Go to HotMobileWebsites.com or call now, 877-220-5576. That's 877-220-5576. One more time, 877-220-5576.
The Grand Hotel. Lewis's successful life is deceiving. His wife Pearl is still haunted by the sins of her youth. Yet something strange is brewing at the Grand Isle Gala. Suddenly, rivals' desire for power takes an ugly turn. Discover what will happen amidst the glamour and glitter of the annual gala, where a night of crime, of seething passion, ignite and explode. The Grand Hotel by author J.A. Jackson. Available exclusively at Amazon.com and Kindle Store.
Hi, Walter. a book by Mike Hartner. Set in the 1600s Europe, this is a tale that follows the adventures of Walter Crofter, his struggles with love, family, and staying true to himself. Chanticleer Book Reviews proclaims they look forward to reading more of the Crofter saga from Mike Hartner. From H.B. Pierce Wheatley, excellent book. It evokes the era perfectly. It was a delight to read, and I was sorry to finish it as it felt as if I was leaving a friend behind. Available now on Amazon for hard copy or Kindle. Visit accidentalauthor.ca and join the adventure today.
If you want to make an extra $600 to $2,000.
All right, welcome back to Afternoon Bytes. This is Tattoo Rick, and we are sitting down with Tara Long, and we're talking about, at this time, bullying. We were talking about a young boy that was bullied to the point where he tried to kill himself, and some tattoo artists were helping him out with that. But I think we want to touch more on just bullying altogether. I, myself, was bullied when I was in school, and it was mainly because I had a burn on my arm, and it covered up a lot of, it actually was pretty noticeable, and kids are just evil. They see something different and they want to pick on it. That's the way I took it when I was growing up. But now that I have kids in school, I've noticed that it's more than just that. Kids are usually put in positions where they've been bullied either by their parents or by peers, and I think they kind of fall into that trap.
I don't think it's necessarily they think they're being bullied by their parents. It's being told what to do. There is a big difference. And then they just see what their parents are doing to them, and then maybe they're taking that to school. Yes, of course, there are those parents out there that are just big bullies. But as you were bullied in school, I was bullied in school. Yours was, I know you're saying it was noticeable, but it's more noticeable when you have your shirt off. I don't really see the scar or the scar.
Oh, yeah, gym sucked.
Yeah, but there's ways to get out of that. But anyway, if you're a girl, you can get out of it. But for a woman of a larger caliber, like I was when I was growing up, yes, fat. Hate to say the word, but fat. I used to walk out my door, okay? I lived on a street that was mainly boys. I had one friend that was a girl, and she lived a block and a half away. That was about my age, okay? So we're all the same age. We're talking 1 to 2 to even 3 years difference in age. And most of them were older than me. You know, I'm an only child. My parents, they're great and everything, but I don't know if they realized what was going on. I would come out of my house sometimes, and they would be at my neighbors that used to be my quote-unquote best friend growing up until you get to that puberty age. I used to walk out my house, and they would start mooing at me like a cow.
Wow.
I mean, I'm going through puberty. You know, you go up, you go out, well, some people go up and out. Some people just go up and never gain any weight until they hit 40. But I used to walk out my door with that. And then going to school, I was clumsy because I was tall. I had big feet. So I looked like one of those big clowns, those round clowns, big feet, big hair, and really, really big because I haven't grown up at all. So I look like this big clown and everything. But they really used to, we want to call it bullying, but they used to really pick on me because of my weight. You know, that has scarred me. We're going how many years later? That started probably in elementary school when I moved to Omaha, Nebraska. And that just continued through high school. High school was a little bit different. It's, you know, you make your mark, didn't have that many issues. But junior high and elementary school, that was hard. I mean, you're calling people fat. And I hate to say this, but I'm pretty confident now about myself. But they really tore me down when I was younger. They called me name after name after name. And here I am, how many years later, I'm self-conscious. I continually call myself fat. I blame everybody that was in my neighborhood. Could I have done something about it? What could I do? I'm an only child. My parents, like, you know how parents are. Oh, you'll get over it kind of thing.
Well, that was the late 80s anyway, and late 80s, I mean, bullying really wasn't a huge topic.
Early 80s.
Oh, well, early 80s, sorry.
Early 80s.
But even with that, I remember in the 80s, it was difficult to talk to my parents about school, let alone people picking on me. My parents had no clue that I was being picked on. They had no idea that I skipped 32 days straight from junior high school either. It took me to actually get in trouble and get put in school suspension for being gone 32 days. By the time I got back, I had teachers that didn't even know who I was, honestly. And with that my parent, well, why didn't you go to school? What's going on? You sit there and try to explain to them that I did not feel comfortable around the people that were in my class because, frankly, I was different from them, or I felt different from them.
And it's not just the kids. I can honestly remember this one teacher. You always have that one teacher that wants to be, quote unquote, in with the in crowd, or be younger than she really is. We had this one teacher. I couldn't stand her because I wasn't a cheerleader. I wasn't doing that much with school activities. I did a lot of stuff outside of school. I mean, I had friends all the way around town, but in my own school, I had friends and whatnot, but there was this one teacher. She was harsh. She just didn't really want to talk to you. You put your hand up, and you didn't even complain to. I had one teacher, he says, oh, I wasn't there at school. I wasn't there at school one day, and I'm like, yeah, I was. It's because he didn't, recognize me. He did not remember me. I was there at school, but I got accused of skipping school that one day. And I'm like, well, no, I was here. I can prove it. Just because you can't remember me. Yeah, I was a little quiet and shy. Well, let's see. When I was more in high school, in junior high and elementary school, it was really bad because they were more direct. You're fat. You're a cow. You're a pig. You know, when you get to high school, it's a little bit catty.
Oh, yeah, it's more or less behind your back and in the cliques, and you hear it through your friends, or I remember that especially in high school. It was, you didn't find out how much of a loser until all the losers were telling you were a loser.
Yeah, I remember that. But really, like I said, I had the opportunity to actually sit down and have a drink with my old neighbor after all these years. And I did. I asked, I told him, I said, well, because he told me about his kids. I was trying to be nice and everything. And we were nice because we used to talk quite a bit when we got older. But back in my mind for all those years was, you bullied the heck out of me, And so I did bring that up. I went to the bar and we had a drink when we discussed it. I said, I hope you're raising your kids to be a little bit better than you were. And I think he was taken aback by it. He was like, what, who the hell are you? Kind of thing. And I told him, this is what you used to do to me. I don't know if you realize that, but here I am, I'm 40 something years old, and here I am paying for it. I continually, I go to the dressing room. Yeah, I'll get over it, right? This is what they tell you. Yeah, get over it. How can I get over it? You nailed it into my head and my skull day after day after day, and just either embarrassed me. I had like a swimming thing going on one time at my house, or we're playing out in the sprinkler is what it was, and I remember I was changing clothes. He pushed me outside naked, and took my towel. Oh. I don't think my parents ever knew that, but that's what happened. I mean, I'm not too embarrassed by much anymore, but for me, being at that age, I was embarrassed.
I could see how that could really mess with your psyche.
I'm fat. I was chubby. I was really, really chubby. I had no boobs. So just imagine, I used to cut my hair really short, so I looked like a little boy. So I was a tomboy. I was called fat all the time. And then, and then throwing me outside like that, it was really embarrassing. I remember I had to run around back to the house and where the door was open because they didn't lock that. So
I wouldn't have guessed that you were big or any of that because you look beautiful now.
Thanks. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you. But it was just over and over and over again. I don't remember people going to the extremes they are today as far as the suicide and things like that. Well, maybe it wasn't talked about as much. Now they want to try to put it up in the open and whatnot. Because I don't remember, when I was growing up, you'd never really heard about...
Oh, kids killing themselves.
Well, you did, but they didn't bring up specifically what. You didn't bring up, there was bullying at home or school or whatnot. It was just, they killed themselves. You know?
Yeah. Well,